for David and Ebenezer to look for a quiet place so we can hear from them. So today we're going to talk about from zero to hero, building a successful career in the tech industry. Currently, unlike before, we have so many roles popping up. Well, like so many roles that we've not heard before. It was my first time hearing about mobile product manager. I was like, wow, only focus on mobile, not like, so we have several roles popping up. Before technical writers do very little stuff, but right now they do a lot. Before you have software engineers that probably focused on one area, but right now you go to some companies, they are focused on several other areas. So today we're going to talk about, probably we'll try to touch so many roles. What we're going to say will cover so many roles. So for those that are newbies, probably entertain your questions and also give you tips on how to be successful. And we know it's always important when you're done with a program, when you're done with school, when you're probably done with studying or learning one programming language or learning one course or the other. The next move is for you to probably get an internship role or get a junior role, or probably sometimes you might even be good enough to even get a senior role. So we're going to talk about all that, give you tips and tricks that you probably use to scale, and you also ask any questions at all. We'll also be here to answer that. So, Ebenezer, are you fine? Dave, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm good now. I can hear you. How's it going, everyone? Good to be here.
I can go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone.
Oh, yeah. My name is Ebenezer Don. I'm a software engineer, the founder of newdev.io, a learning platform and community for developers. So you should check it out on my profile. I'm an author of Simplified JavaScript for VIPs, and I've worked in a couple of software engineering roles, including Adela, Data Science Nigeria, JetBrains. And yeah, it's good to be here. It's good to hear your questions, talk to you about software engineering, and anything. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, thank you so much. So, Dave, are you ready? All right, so we're waiting for Dave to connect. So I just have one short story to share. I don't know if I've shared that before. So let's start up with that story. That would help a lot of us. So I had a friend of mine, and she stayed in the US, and we've been friends. Just how we became friends is funny. I went for an interview. She was the interviewer. Let me say she was the hiring manager on that role. So, and I was also interviewing with other companies too. So I got to the last stage of that company. Sorry, but I can't say the name here. So I got to the last stage of the company and also got to the last stage of other companies. So I had opportunity to accept 3 roles, but I didn't. I wanted to just work with one. And I weighed a lot of, I checked so many options and I picked the other company over one company. So when I got to the last stage, I told them that I can't because I've already accepted other roles. And I gave them a few reasons why I did so. And it was mutual. And they said, okay, wish you all the best. So, and I started looking for, like some years later, I saw an opening when I was looking for an opening. I saw the company she works with, put up a position, and I applied directly to their job portal. Then I probably don't remember that, hey, I have a friend that works here. I sent her a message. I said, hey, I saw an opening. I've already applied. Probably send me her own recommendation form. So link, more like, so she sent me the link and I applied through that link. 2 days later, I got accepted and booked for an interview. 3 days later, I got rejected. But the rejection was coming from the first link I applied that wasn't through recommendation. So, but I got accepted through the second link, which she gave to me. That was from recommendation. So when I did the first interview, the interviewer was like, okay, sorry, can you just tell me the kind of relationship you have with this lady. I said, yeah, she's just my friend, and look at her. But she said a lot of good things, good stuff about you. So why I say this is, I would like most of us here to value relationships because it's very, very important. I just met her during an interview and we became friends. I tried my best to maintain that relationship. Now, because of that relationship, I had the opportunity to interview again in that company. Remember, like I said, that I was rejected first on the first form without recommendation, but I got accepted. And the interviewer, first and second and third interviewer, they were like, who is this lady? All of them, they wanted to know who the lady was to me because I don't know what she said, but I know what she said made sense so much. I don't know where maybe she made them see me as a CTO or CEO or something because I believe what she said was so strong because each and every one of them really wanted to know the kind of relationship I have with that lady. So it's always important. You meet people online like Twitter Space here, go to communities or wherever you meet people. Don't try to just quash relationships. It's very important. Always try to make sure you maintain those relationships. Make sure you grow them. Most of the relationship you keep, you get people that even help you get a job, get a contract, or even help you sell stuff, and you don't even expect to do that. So let's start with the relationship part. So I would like Ebenezer to take a little time to tell us the importance of relationship. So like I said, today we're talking about building a successful career in the tech industry, and relationship is one icing on the cake that many people don't know. Or maybe they know, but probably they don't think it's very, very critical. Yes, it is, because no matter how good you think you are, most times you see things don't come your way because of the relationship you don't have with some certain persons. Let me give an example. There are some events that happen. I'm not going to mention anyone, but there are events that happen. Within you probably know very well that this particular person, even if this person does not even apply to be a speaker, this person will be a speaker in that event. Because why? You know that the person is very close to the person organizing the event. Now, why do you have that feeling? Because of you know that they are close, and definitely the other person would really give a chance to his friend to come and speak, knowing fully well that the friend is also good. So one thing I want us to know is not just the relationship, also make sure you're good. So when it's time, you're ready and capable to accept it. So let's hear from Ebenezer. Tell us about maybe how relationship has helped you, like you worked in JetBrain. So maybe a little story of how you got into JetBrain, because I know it's not a company everybody would have an opportunity to work with, but you did. So, and I think your story would inspire a lot of us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Wisdom. So JetBrains, yeah, building relationship is very important. Sorry, I got distracted a bit. I'm outside my house and I just try to find a quiet place. So this is something that's very important. It's something I've seen in my career. And when I talk to developers, I try to emphasize the importance of having a network, connecting with people, because this is really important. For JetBrains, I don't think JetBrains was, it held my online relationship helped with JetBrains. I was a developer advocate at JetBrains, and the work I did online, including technical articles, videos, tutorials, courses, and the application building. My communities also. Yeah, so that definitely helped. But I've seen relationship help in more ways than applying for a job, because I've seen people, even personally, there are people that I've helped get jobs, and the reason they got this job is not because they applied to the role, because I know them. Of course, you have to be qualified for the role to get invited in the first place. But when some of these job roles come out, some of these opportunities come, before it gets to the public, there's an internal discussion. First of all, the people internally are looking and seeing if there's anyone they know that is going to fit perfectly for this role. And it's when they don't find someone they know that fits for the role that it then goes out. So that's something I've noticed. That's the way life is. You might say, oh, that's connections, but that's just the way life is. You have to be good first of all, because if you're not good, no one is going to recommend you. But if no one knows you and no one knows what you're doing, and I'm not saying you should go and be an influencer. You don't have to be an influencer for this. All you need to do is connect with people, connect with the right people. Let them know you, let them know what you're doing, try to build, collaborate with people, even things like asking questions. Things like asking questions to specific people, getting answers, and that can help foster something. You can help them know what you're up to. And then if there's anything that comes up, that's one way that you can get this. I've seen it a lot. Even when I joined Andela, and that's one thing that Andela helped us build, lots of relationships, because a lot of opportunities I've gotten are from the people I connected with back then. And a lot of my closest friends are through my colleagues. Because what we did was build relationships a lot. Go to the office, communicate with people, connect with people. And there's this kind of circle that's there with people around us. And if there's an opportunity or there's anything that comes to the table, you're thinking about this person that you know that does this well, first of all, and you cannot find that person, you do it with the next person. So now in building these relationships too, don't think that the best way to do it is to go and start looking at people that are already very successful and you're trying to get their attention, get all the attention you can from them. And you're trying to get all the attention you can from them. People do this and they neglect the people around them currently, which is really important. You leave the people around you right now, the people you're learning with, and you don't think that those relationships that you can foster with them is important. You think that they're still learning, they're still on your level, so you leave them and go and be looking for those ones that have probably made it in your opinion, or those ones that are already there, already where you want to be. And that's not wrong also. That's something you should do. But the people around you right now are going to be that circle that other people are going to be looking to later on. So what do? You try to build your network with people, build your network with peers. This is really important. Build a network with peers, people you're learning with. Don't do this alone. You cannot succeed as a lone wolf. You need to build a network with people. Even in salary negotiations, these things happen. You might not be able to come online and ask for, well, how much should a software engineer earn? Or how much should I get for this role? Or you cannot come online and just ask someone, can you tell me what you're earning here? But this is something you can ask people that you've been able to foster a relationship with, people you've been in talking terms with. You're trying to negotiate salary. You're trying to get, insight into whatever it is, and you ask them. And this is really helpful. This is something you can talk about with people you know. You might not feel comfortable talking about it with strangers, but once you build that relationship with someone that you can be able to discuss salary, you'll be like, you know that, oh, maybe I can get more out of this company, or maybe this company is saying too less and whatever it is, or maybe that your friend or that person you build a relationship with can push you towards getting something more. So all these things are very important. It's important to build relationships in tech. You cannot be alone. And there's so many opportunities that are going to fly you by if there's no one that knows what you're doing. If there's no one that knows what you do, if there's no one that knows what you can do. So just try as much as possible. You don't have to be an influencer for this, but you have to just connect with people, collaborate, join communities, platforms, and all of that. All these things are very helpful.
All right, thank you so much. So one takeaway there, which I probably would like to expand a little bit, is don't try to look for those that are successful. Try to walk around people around you to be successful. So you guys will now be what other people will look up for. I know David said something about his story. How I wish network would probably free him, because I know he talked about a circle they had when he was starting out. They created a WhatsApp group and they were helping each other. And now, they are probably up there and they are still helping each other with gig or any other any other gig that they know that any of their sector can fit in very fine and it's good at. They will quickly recommend the person and boom, see the person excelling more. So let us not just look at those that are there. You can work with people around you. You know people around you that are passionate, that wants to be there, because it's actually too, because I wouldn't say start focusing on people. Hey, let's see. No, you also try to help yourself. Okay, all right, Ebenezer.
Yeah, so what you said is really important. And I just remembered my first technical writing gig, the first one I was paid for at Log Rocket, was through a friend. And before that, I didn't even know I could be earning money from writing articles. I was just writing my technical articles. And there was no way I would have known at that time, at that point, that I could make money from this. And it was through a friend that said, you could actually earn from this stuff you're doing. And just connected me with the company. I didn't have to apply. Just connected me to the company. They reached out to me that, this person recommended me and said I should say, I sent them, 2 articles I've written. And that was it. I started writing articles and I started making money with it. So some of these things are very important. You might not know that you need some things, but because of the people you've connected with, you get those opportunities.
Yeah, so it's very, very important because it's in short, I would say it's very, very it's very vital because you have people around you that would definitely be something tomorrow. Either they'll be up there or probably they might not be up there. So, but depending on how you guys, help each other, you will get there. It's not all about the skill, how good you are. I can tell you for free that I know somebody that has like 15 years experience, but he has not worked with any company that have paid him over 100,000 naira before. The highest I could remember, which when he told me was something of like 80 something thousand naira. A senior, I would say a senior square software engineer. He's very, very good. Now, the problem there is because, which I probably told him several times, is you're very good. You are already, you have the years behind you. You have the product to show. But one thing you don't do is you don't let people know, just a few persons like myself and a very few persons that know that you're good. You don't need to probably hide yourself there. You build something, you put it out there. You have friends, you tell that, hey, I've built this thing, I've shared it on LinkedIn or Twitter. I would like you to help me retweet, like, so that the algorithm will probably do its job. Then people will probably see your job. I know Dave also talked about he built something and somebody on one of his followers was always watching what he's doing. And at some point he had laptop issue and the lady helped him to get a new laptop. And starting from there, the story has changed. So it's very important for you to, build, like Beneza said, that his circle told him, hey, you can make money from writing. Because why? And the one question you ask yourself is, why did they know that he can make money from writing? Because they have seen what he has written before. So if I've not seen what you have done before and you don't put it online, let's just leave our circle right now. Most of the times you get help from strangers, not from your circle. So I wouldn't like everybody to rally around everything is more about the circle. Just try to share what you have done. You built a very lovely screen, using HTML, bare HTML and CSS. Share it out there. Hey, I've built this. You wrote something. You use Python to do this. You built one CLI tool or you designed one UI using Figma or whatever. Share it out there that, hey, this is what I've done. I would like you guys to, I know people normally do tag me nowadays. Say, I've written this. Try to help me review. Sometimes I do review and make some changes for that. So it's very important for us to share what we have done so people can see what you have done. That way you can even get a job. Like I said, it's not all about the years you have behind you. Somebody I know has over 15 years experience, but he has not made something reasonable from software engineer compared to those that probably, I know some persons that started just 1 year and the next thing is they're working in a very, very big company. Now, how did that happen is they shared what they have done. They shared their progress. They let people know this is what I'm doing. This is where I am. And everybody's aware. So when something comes up, I can easily say, okay, I know this person. And even if he's a stranger, I've seen what he has done so far and I think good. Check him out. And boom, the person might get the job. So it's very important for us to, not just look at the relationship we have, also try to work on ourselves to make sure we level up our game. So I think we have David here. So Dave, are you set? I know the network has been bad on your end.
Yeah, apparently my service provider disappears when you ring and it's currently ready. Sorry about that.
Okay, all right. Okay, so first of all, I would like you to introduce yourself to everyone. And I was talking about your story a bit, where you talked about how you got your laptop through a stranger, because I want to let them know that you don't just get help only from your circles, you also get help from strangers. So I would also like you to maybe take us back to that story. At least that would probably inspire some of us here.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I am David Herbert. I am primarily a front-end developer and an active technical writer. I've worked for a few companies as a front-end dev. I've worked for Springsoft and IDS. As a technical writer, currently write for a few organizations, including Content Lab, Draft.dev, CodaPad, Log Rockets, Flycode, etc. A lot of them. So my story, I think you guys are talking about why you should network, why networking is actually very good. And I heard something about building in public, which are some of the things that have helped me the most in my career. Because I think when I was learning to code, I had this habit that initially I did not realize was a good habit, where when I build something, I come on social and I just post it for myself. It's like that's me documenting my progress. Now I did not realize that over time, this kind of helped me grow a bit of following. I think I got almost 300, 500 followings from just posting things I build. So along the way, I started learning just HTML, CSS. I got very good at it. I decided, okay, I was going to start making clones of popular websites. I think I cloned websites like Gmail, YouTube, Twitter, etc. And I kept posting all of them. And people would just interact with it. It was no big deal. I might get asked which technology do you use, etc., etc. Then from there, I kind of met a few friends on Twitter that kind of liked my work and just wanted to connect with me. So we created a WhatsApp group of some sort and just joined the group as friends. And then along the way, when I got to JavaScript, my laptop went bad. And I just came online and posted, and my laptop was bad. I needed a new laptop, how it goes. I didn't get a feedback. I didn't get feedback immediately, but some weeks later, I just got a random DM from a lady that said she was a fan of my work. She has been following me for a while and she loved what I was doing. And she just realized that I no longer have a laptop, which is why she has not been seeing my things. And she was hoping she could contribute to me getting a new laptop. So I explained what was going on with her. I had been coding on my phone because my laptop was bad. And then she sent me $300 to get a new laptop initially. And then she started a fundraising with some of our friends online and raised an additional $500, making it $800 that she sent to me to get a new laptop. That kind of helped me get a very good laptop. Started my whole career. That on the side, along the way, after I learned HTML, CSS, JavaScript, while I was posting my project, I got like 3 companies reach out to me that they wanted me to work for them as a front-end developer. One of the companies, Sprinter, that I later worked for, was one of those companies that reached out to me when I was posting my clones. So I think building in public kind of just helps your growth because you never know who's watching you. Companies can see you and see that you have potential and just be keeping tabs on you and you won't even realize it. That's how I landed my first front-end role at Sprinter. And then my second role at IDS, I woke up one day and just posted on my timeline that I needed a new role. I needed money for something. I needed a new role. And then some random dude that I didn't even know DM'd me. I checked his profile. He was the founder of a startup. And he was like, he had been following me for a while now. He loves all of my clones. And he was hoping to reach out to me at one point. But seeing that I'm now open to working for a company, he was hoping I could work for their company as a front end dev. And we did a little bit of interview, jumped on a call, talked. And I don't think I even did anything serious. The next thing I was in the company as a front end dev. That's where I landed my second role as a front end dev. So on the building aspects, you can see how how helpful that can be to someone's career. Like for me, it has been extremely helpful. Like even when I got into technical writing, you'll be shocked that the technical writing that I got into is simply because I had a group of friends in the WhatsApp group that I mentioned. And one of my friends posted on his status that he bought a very expensive gadget. And I just asked him, bro, have you landed a role? He said no, that he got into technical writing. His sister linked him up with one company, and that's how he got into technical writing. And this thing he just got was from his second article. So that is how I knew that technical writing pays. And then I went online, did my research. I found out that technical writing that I've been writing for myself actually pays if you write for certain companies. I found a list of organizations that actually pay to write for you to write for them, and applied to a lot of them. I got accepted at most. That's how I got into technical writing too. So yes, building in public helps. Networking also helps. And the networking aspect has really helped me. For instance, sometimes I apply to rules and then I get rejected. But I try to keep up with some of the recruiters if they are friendly. I know a recruiter that for Codapad I write for right now. I applied to the company for a full-time role. I didn't get the full-time role, so I befriended one of the recruiter and just kept in contact with her. We talk on LinkedIn. I comment on her stuff and just like that. But that kind of gave her a picture of what I'm about. And then one day she randomly DM'd me that, okay, that she's not supposed to be telling me this, but they have an opening in the company and it's not yet public. Would I be interested in it? I said, sure. She sent me a link. I filled the form, sent her my CV, and then the next thing, I'm on a meeting with her and their manager. That's how I landed in there. So I think that's about it. Wisdom.
All right, thank you so much for that. So I guess most of us here will probably learn 18 or 2 from that, because it's important for us to network and share what we have done. So let's hear from Ebenezer, because he wrote a book for JavaScript. Well, like the book will really help JavaScript beginners. So, and one thing I know he did was after writing the book, he shared it online. So there is a reason why he shared it online. So I'm not saying most of us are writing book right now, but whatever you do, you need to share it online so that people will see. So Ebenezer, I probably like you to tell us, why you shared the book online. So why didn't you probably just tell a few friends of yours and leave it there?
Yeah, so this is really important about what you're doing. If you truly believe that what you're doing has value, what you're doing is of value, and that what you're doing solves a problem, you are going to tell people about it. So if you don't believe that your skill right now, that people need your skills, or you don't believe that your skills can actually solve a problem, then you keep your mouth shut. But if you believe that what you're doing solves a problem, then you're going to tell people about it. You'll be doing a disservice to yourself and that product that you have or that skill set that you have to just keep it to only you and not solve other people's problem. So that's the idea behind sharing what you do. It's very important. And if I had written my book and I just kept quiet about it, I published my book, I think that was beginning of March. And you've seen me, if you go to my profile, my WhatsApp status or LinkedIn or Twitter, you're going to see me talking about my book every day. Now imagine I just published that book and I just left it there and I just told a few people about it. Oh, I wrote a book, and that's all. I would not have been able to help all of these hundreds of people right now, hundreds of people so far that have benefited from the knowledge in my book. So that is me doing a disservice to them. If I did not keep talking about it every day, putting it online, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, imagine all these people that have had all their JavaScript problems solved, people that were struggling with JavaScript, because when reading the reviews about my book, you'll be like, wow, so how come this person did not find this book earlier? So imagine all of these people did not find my book. They're still going to be struggling with JavaScript right now. So I would have been doing them a disservice to not tell them about my book. So it's very important that whatever you do, even my technical articles, when I write articles, I make sure I share it on social media. I share it on my WhatsApp status. I share it on LinkedIn. Because I'm not writing it for myself. I'm not doing all of these things for myself. I'm doing it for people to see it, for people to use it, and for it to solve a problem, to help people. So if I do this and I just keep it to myself and say, if it's good now, if it's good, it's good, If it's good, people will find it. People will not find it if it's good. You have to tell people about it. People are not just going to magically find it. I create YouTube videos, I share it everywhere because people will not just magically find it. You can't just believe that, oh, if it's good, I'll just relax. Whatever, if my product is good, it will sell itself. Don't be, if it's truly something that will solve a problem, then you owe yourself a duty. You owe the world that duty to tell people about it so that their problem is going to be solved. So that's something I've seen. Even your skill set. Don't just keep things to yourself. Maybe you build applications, for example, you build projects, tutorial projects or clones or your own ideas and whatever it is, and you just build it and you just keep it to yourself. No, that's not the way to go. If you truly believe that, oh, this project you built is going to solve someone's problem, you put it out there, put it on GitHub, tell everyone about it on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, let them know that there's a project that's going to solve their problem. Unless you're just building for the sake of building and what you're building is not actually going to solve anyone's problem, then you won't talk about it. But if what you're building is supposed to solve people's problem, then you have to talk about it because people will not just magically find it. People will look at all the musicians that you might have said, oh, this person just be like Justin Bieber, for example, that someone found him on YouTube. If he was not on YouTube posting those videos, no one would find him. Or Rema with his music and posting his videos on Instagram and all that. Who would have found him if he was not putting that out there? So whatever you're doing, and I always tell people, because when people hear something like they're thinking that, they want me to go and be an influencer or a celebrity. No, you don't have to be a celebrity for this. But is your work visible? If someone searches, if someone goes to look for people that are doing this particular thing, can they find you? Can they find your projects on GitHub? Can they find your articles on Medium? Can they find whatever it is you're doing anywhere? If they're going to look for developers, will they see your profile anywhere? So this is something that's really important. You have to put what you're doing out there and let people see it.
All right, thank you so much for that. Okay, Dave.
Okay. I actually just wanted to correct something that Ebezina said, which is, I don't know, some people might interpret that differently, which is, if you're not building something that is useful to people, then you should not talk about it. I wanted to rephrase that because really it's not really just about building things that you feel people, that solves a problem. If you're learning, the best way to gain visibility is by documenting your progress online. Whatever you build, whether it's fancy, so far as it utilizes the technologies, the skill that you're trying to learn, it's very advisable that you post about it online. Maybe by doing that, just the way it helped me, by doing that, I found my first employment. By doing that, I also found my second employment, and that also helped me when I was in a critical position where I no longer had a laptop. So this kind of creative visibility for you. I think I have a friend here that also he was learning UI UX design. And whenever he creates something, he would post it online, he post it on all of his channels or his socials. And then one day somebody just reached out to him that, okay, they have been following him for a while and they had an opening in their company. Would he be interested in filling the role? And that's just how he got into an interview with the company and then they hired him. So I think it's just about visibility. Thank you. Wisdom.
Okay, right. Thank you for that contribution. So I wanted to talk about something else before we start taking questions, something I think that is very, very important. And I know probably Ebenezer and Dave will have something to say about that. Is still on, because today probably is more centered on relationship, because that helps a lot. So it's still on how you react to people's social media posts. Because I know there is a saying that says, if you scratch my back, I scratch your back. So, most of us here, or probably generally might have, I know some persons that don't like reacting to people's posts. And the truth of the whole thing is that when you don't do that, even if the person is not too close to you, it's nature or it's natural that, the person will also see your post, no matter how important it is, they will jump it off. I don't know if you probably check your Twitter stats. Sometimes you see 11K and you're just seeing a few hundred, so probably something less than 100 reactions to that. So that is what you get most of the times when you don't react to people's information. So I would like us to talk a little about that because it's important. Like I'll say again, everything is not about the skills you have. It's not about the years behind you. It's not about people you know. There are little things that matter. and these things will help you skyrocket yourself. These things will help you place you at the front for people to see. So for me, I always advise that, try to have a relationship where you can react to people's stuff online. You come online, you saw that your friend posted something that is very informative, but you don't want to react to that. You're like, okay, this is fine. And you leave it like that, Reacting to that will really help a lot, will really help people to see that, because Twitter algorithm, Facebook algorithm, or LinkedIn, will make it your followers will see. The moment you just like or even comment, your followers will probably see that, okay, you commented on this. And if anybody on your followers list, finds that interesting, they will probably react to that, and that will keep going. If I say maybe the person posted about job, I know your friend is looking for a job, but you don't want to like it. That is bad, because you liking it, your followers will see that. And what if one of the followers is actually looking for somebody with that skill, and your friend will get hired, but because of you not liking it, not reacting to that post, your friend didn't get the job that month or that period because of you, and you might not be aware. So I think that is not good. I would like us to always, it's not like you see your friend posting anything that is not meaningful and you just jump to like. It's I won't advise, but you saw that somebody posted something really cool, and knowing fully well that, liking that post would probably help a lot. So let's start with Ebenezer. So what do you have to say about that? So telling people reason why they should, like their friends posts, not like people generally like liking what your friend posts online to help them, reach more audience.
Yeah, so this is important. I'm about going home, by the way, so I think I might drop off. But this is something that's really important to show support. To show support is really important, and think about sometimes you put yourself in this person's shoe. That's why when I go on Twitter, sometimes I see someone post something they are happy about that they worked on, and is one like, zero likes. I don't like that. I help the person like it. Sometimes I retweet because it's important to show support, because some people might come online and they're so excited about something, they just want to share it. But even their friends are going to sit and you just scroll. In your mind, you can be like, "Oh, that's awesome," because I just scroll. But you don't know that just liking or just commenting. I comment on people's tweets, and sometimes when I say, "Oh, good job, this is really awesome." That small thing is something that someone can remember for a very long time, and even sometimes for the rest of their career, because they'll be like, "Oh, it's just this person that remembered me." So things like this are really important, and it's going to help you too, because when you interact on Twitter, for example, when you interact with people on Twitter, it also brings that engagement back to you. So in case you're looking for people to also interact with your post, or you want people to see what you're doing, you have to interact with others too, because that also helps you grow your own network. The people you interact with are the people you're going to see on your feeds, and when they reply your comments or like your comment or whatever it is, they're going to see you on their feed. So this supportive environment is something you should try to create. Don't say, nobody's liking my post, I won't like anybody's post. It's when you start interacting with people, putting yourself out there for people to see, commending people and all of that. Things like this are really important. People are going to feel happy, feel appreciated, and they'd want to do that for you. An example is someone who I was speaking with. I went on her space, and when I joined her space, it was not there were not much people there, and she was like trying to get people to come up, and I immediately just went up there to show support, so that she's not the only person talking, with a few people listening, and that was really helpful. She was really happy about that. We spoke on the space. She heard about my book. She immediately went to buy it, because of that support. And after that, I've seen other things she's been doing, and I've been very supportive also, because these are things that are really important. Just try to be there for people, and it's going to help in your career.
All right, thank you. So let's hear from Dave.
Hello? Sorry.
Yeah, can you hear
Network.
Yeah.
Okay. To add to what Ebenezer said, I I think I'll move this topic to LinkedIn, which is where I actually do that. It's not about just liking. I think the easiest way to actually build a network on LinkedIn is by conversing with people. Say, for me, if I see a company that I like what they are doing and I have plans of, maybe joining that company at one point, I kind of just interact with the people around the company. Say, I can be following their recruiter, their CEO. And when he makes a post, I might just comment in the comment section of the post. Obviously, your comment should be something that adds value to the discussion, to the topic, not just randomly commenting. But over time, these people just get to notice you. See, when you eventually send a connection, when you eventually send a DM, it kind of feels familiar. It's not like a stranger sending a message, because they can easily snub a stranger. But if it's somebody that they have been seeing in their comment section, they've been interacting with their content, you've been liking their posts, it kind of builds an indirect relationship with them. It obviously is not direct, but because they have been seeing you around, they kind of just have that familiarity around your profile. So when you reach out for something, when you reach out for a job opening to tell them that, oh, this is what you do, and you're looking for social opening, they would feel encouraged to want to help you, because there is this sense of familiarity between you guys. So I think that's just my contribution to it.
All right, yeah, thank you. So that reminds me, there was a company I worked for. It's a Belgium company. When I joined, we traveled to Rwanda and kind of had a round table, and the CTO said he wants to share something. He said that one of us there, so he called out the guy and said, that the guy has been applying for over 3 years, that he has kept applying. Whenever opportunity comes up, he kept applying, reaching out, like Dave said. Now, he personally, made it possible for the guy to join, because the guy was a junior engineer, and after then, we didn't need any junior engineer at all. But because of just that, he said he loves the guy's passion towards the company. He's always making sure he reached out, send messages, always apply, constantly applying and reaching out to the CTO on LinkedIn. And he just hired him for the junior role that we don't need. They have to just create out something for him to be doing, which is what Dave said, something I know that happened where I worked. So it's very, very important, you reach out to people, and that would not make it possible. So like he did, kept applying, and when he applied again and there was nothing, so the CTO said, okay, we need to just hire this guy for junior. I think he has tried applying, and I think I like him. So let's just bring him and help him. And that was how he got that job. So it's important for us to apply. That will help us a lot. So if you have any question, okay, you can bring up a question so we can talk about that. So the floor is open. Okay, so we have a few faces here that are familiar. So I guess let me invite somebody to probably tell us, share a little story that will also inspire us too. So let's hear from Idris. Hi, Idris.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How are you doing, man?
Hi, everyone. Ebenezer, hi. Hi, David. I've been following up ever since you have, been talking about some of these things. Thanks for sharing. I think I just wanted to buttress on and also probably ask question, right? Just one last question, because I noticed you said you'll be dropping us soon. All right, so there's a time somebody was, you tell us to build in public, right? And but at some point we don't get engagement. For example, if we talk about things we are building or try to tweet something, we don't get.
Yeah, your background is noisy. Sorry. Yeah, your background is noisy, Idris. We can't hear you.
Okay.
All right, so let's hear from.
Okay. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Wisdom, Mr. Ebenezer, Mr. David. I really appreciate your time for taking out the time to give us some tips on the industry. I have two questions, and one is, after the personal branding, showing your work through in your portfolio, your online portfolio, and reacting to all these
people that you'd like, senior engineers you'd like to collaborate with, and then to give a mentor. I'll use myself as an example. I'm a self-taught developer, and I've been working all the while 2-3 years. Although I have a role, like a job I'm working on currently, but I've wanted a senior engineer or like a mentor. You work faster when you have someone guiding you in the you know on the industry. So, but I've not like really not. I won't say I've not found, but I've been getting some like questions. Oh, I'm busy and stuff like that. So, how will you relate with someone? At least to get the best out of someone. Like there's a guy I met on Twitter. He was always like, I mean on GitHub rather. So I from GitHub I got his mail. I sent him a mail. He was like, he's always busy with projects. He won't have time and stuff like that. I don't know why it's that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for that. So I think Dave would start with this because he has a real life example of this kind of scenario. So Dave, I think you probably take up then while I pick it up from there.
Can you recap the question? My network is breaking badly. I think it's the rain. So I didn't get what he said.
Yeah, I said he wants to work with a senior that would probably guide him, but the person he's contacting is always busy. So, and I think you talked about how you started having a circle and how you guys helped each other. So I think that story will probably help him.
Okay. Hopefully you can hear me because my network is really bad.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think that's about mentorship. The thing is, most people for me, when I started out, I think I got to a point where I felt stuck, felt like I was in tutorial hell, and I decided, okay, maybe this is where I need somebody that is, a little more advanced to kind of guide me through. So I started reaching out to people on Twitter and online. I reached out to one of the people that built Webpack, stupid me, and we kind of built a relationship. I befriended this person, and I started out as friendship. I came through the route of friendship. I didn't really come through, hi, I want a mentorship from you. No, no. So I started interacting with in his comment section, liking his posts. He started seeing me around. Sometimes I would comment, he would comment back. And then eventually I sent a follow and then followed back, and his DM box kind of opened, and then I reached out and I requested for mentorship, and he laid the cards for me that at his current level, he really cannot interface with people that are below a certain level because the language he speaks, even though it's the language you speak, you will not understand 90% of what he's saying. Like, he no longer deals with the basics of programming. Like, he no longer deals with things like loops, defining variables. He's so high up there that he cannot step down to come and communicate with me. So, and then he talked about how his schedule is even too busy for him to even want to make out that time. So yes,
Okay.
when you usually reach out to all of these to seniors, you would find a lot of challenges. Sometimes they might be very busy. Sometimes they might just be at the level where they cannot actually interact with you, and it's understandable unless somebody is willing to actually make out time for you, which is very unlikely that you see unless you join these mentorship programs that are out there, because there are programs that actually provide mentors for you. You can try one of those. But what has worked for me personally is not about following mentors, but more of having friends that are passionate about the journey, friends that are walking the same path that you are. For me, I had a WhatsApp circle of people in my people that were learning front end, some were learning back end, some were learning designs. If we have issues, we take our issues to the group. If somebody knows it, somebody has encountered it, the person will help you out with it. So if you cannot find a mentor, that's the advice I would give. You should probably just build a circle of people that are going the direction that you're going. That really helps and takes off some of the challenges that you encounter.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Over to you.
Thank you very much, David. I really appreciate you threw a lot of light on it. The second question, it goes to you, David, please. Thank you for the WhatsApp community. I don't know if I'm free to send a DM after now, at least so I can be added. I don't know. But on the second question is, I recently I applied for international roles because the company I'm currently on is kind of toxic and the overlap work hours and stuff like that. So I've currently been on international roles. I've applied to quite a number of them, but there have been some like rejections. I've refined my LinkedIn portfolio, my GitHub. I'm a front-end engineer, but they're like rejections, and I'm wondering. I even had to, reply their mail like, okay, what didn't I do well? What didn't I do well in my application? Was my portfolio not up to date? Did I have the necessary skills? But none of them have gotten back to me. So I don't know how international companies look at us. So the question is how to brand yourself personally to get international roles. I think that's for you, David. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that question. I'm glad I have Queen Harriet here. She's a specialty at those kind of questions. So I will let her take this one.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would like Queen to, because Queen would probably take time to dissect that question a lot. All right, so let's hear from Queen. So once she's done, we can probably now follow up on that. So Queen, you have the floor.
Wisdom.
So do your thing.
Happy Sunday, everyone. Wisdom. Thank you for hosting. I greet you, Mr. Host, and David, Ebert, Speaker, Tech Bro, Uma, all the speakers. Thank you so much. Everyone who is in the listener section, thank you for coming. Thank you. Wisdom, thank you for this space. Sorry, when I go repeat the question again, I beg. I've been there this space, but I think say na question where David won't answer. So I don't really pay attention. I beg repeat the question for me.
Okay. Should I go on, Mr. Wisdom?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Mr. David have answered the first one. No. I don't know. So let me just say what I said again. I was talking about the WhatsApp community, so I asked him if I can send him a DM or to be added, to be an honor. And then the second question was, as a front-end engineer, I've refined my LinkedIn portfolio, I've refined my GitHub portfolio. Most projects I was just use of, tech
Can you hear?
standards, So,
No,
and
I
I've
can't
been
hear.
applying to. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it
Okay.
was
So,
breaking. It was breaking, yeah.
Let me summarize for
Thank
him.
you. Thank you.
I can't hear him
Okay.
again.
Thank you.
Okay. So his question is, he has refined his profile, his GitHub, his LinkedIn,
uh,
his CV, and then he has been applying to several roles, but he keeps getting rejected. Sometimes he asks for feedback, but he doesn't get feedback from the people. So he doesn't know what he's doing wrong, and he needs advice. That's the summary of it.
Okay, it's a good question. I have like a follow-up. At what point are you getting rejected? Is it that you're not getting callbacks to your applications, or you are getting some rounds into the interview and then you are rejected? At what point are you getting the rejections?
okay. Quite a number of them. They didn't proceed to the interview stage. The one I think 2 or 3 that I got to the interview stage, they said that they've already taken, like, they needed those 2 positions. They need like 2 people they needed for that specific role. And based on the interview, I was not among the top 2, but although I passed the interview, but not among the top 2, so they had to take the top 2 and stuff like that. So, and it's
Okay, when you
basically
say
for international roles I'm talking, because recently I'm not talking about applying for Nigerian company. I'm talking about my personal brand when applying for international roles. That is what I'm talking about.
okay, the interview that you were successful according to your words, you said you were successful at the interview, but you were not in the top 2. What type of interview was it? What type of round? Like what did the
Okay, it was the
interview
technical
entail?
interview. I didn't proceed to the next interview. It was the technical interview. That was the first interview.
Okay, and what was the nature of the technical interview? Was it like a coding challenge? Was it a data structure algorithm challenge? Was it a take home? What type of technical? Hello.
Hi, Favor.
Oh, okay. Favor.
Favor.
What type of technical interview was it? Was it a data structure? Was it a coding challenge? Was it a take home? I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, maybe network or
Okay, all right,
something.
no problem. I will do my best to answer. The reason why I'm asking for those information is because I approach job searching with like a milestone mindset. So I don't look at it like, oh, I'm trying to get from not having a job to having a job. I break it down. And this is what I do for my mentees who are actively job searching. So the first milestone is the callback. Okay. The second milestone, typically for engineers, will be like either passing the technical or passing the first phone screen, right? It depends, different companies have different ways. Typically, the technical comes first because technical interviews are cheaper to administer than the other types, okay? So typically, you're going to get the technical in the beginning of the process. So that's the second milestone. And then the third milestone is the behavioral. Now, the behavioral like requires a person, which is why it tends to come later after they have eliminated people with the technical, right? So typically, I'm not saying it's always the case, but typically the behavioral / team fit, culture fit, that's when you actually get face-to-face time. That comes like next. And then you have like a final round. Sometimes the final round will be like with the CTO or the CEO or the department head, somebody higher up that just wants to touch base with whoever is coming into the company. Okay, it's typically the final round. I have seen a few companies that will administer a second technical as the final round. Typically, this is because you are neck and neck with someone and they're trying to introduce a tiebreaker. Okay, so sometimes that happens. By the time you're getting to final round, you're probably going to get an offer, right? And that's another milestone, which is offer stages. The reason why I break the process into milestones is because getting to each milestone requires a different set of competencies. Okay. And so, to answer the question, why am I not, getting the job? Well, it depends. Which milestone are you hitting successfully? If you're not even getting callbacks, then most likely the problem is with your profiles. There's something about your LinkedIn, your GitHub, your portfolio, your resume that is not inspiring enough confidence to want to call you. Then you might say, oh, but I took this optimization course. I took this, I took that. Yes, you may have taken courses and fixed some things. But again, callbacks are a result of confidence in your professional profile. That's why you get a callback, right? Typically, they are not too discriminatory at the beginning. Okay. They're trying to get like a good pool of people to pick from, right? So if you're not getting at least 30% callbacks for the applications you're putting out, there's a problem. That's the metric I work with, is 30%. So for every 10 applications you put out, you should be getting 3 or more callbacks for every 10, at least. I'm not saying at most, at least 3 or more, right? So if that is the issue, the callbacks, then there's something wrong with your profiles. Now, it's funny because sometimes, some people may be attracted, some people may not be. Favor talked about targeting overseas companies. So if you're targeting overseas and you're not getting callbacks, there's something about your professional profiles that is not filling them with enough confidence to want to talk to you. Okay. Your profiles don't get you a job. Your LinkedIn doesn't get you a job. Your portfolio doesn't get you a job. They get you a conversation. That's the goal. Okay. Once your profiles get you a conversation, they've done their work. They've done their job. Once you get the conversation, now you take over. Now you're the one that needs to move the process forward. It's no longer your portfolio. It's no longer your resume, right? So that would be my advice for not getting callbacks. Now, typically, where developers struggle a lot is with the technical. Okay. So even if you're getting a good number of callbacks, you're not getting beyond the technical. Now, contrary to what many of us think, the technical screen is not just about your technical ability. At least I can speak on, like, quote unquote American companies in general. I know I'm sounding like I'm generalizing, but I don't want to talk for long because wisdom will chase me off the microphone. But typically, it's not just your technical ability that they are testing. They are also testing your ability to communicate your process. So this is true with live screen. So if you're doing a hacker rank, like if they send you a link for like a hacker rank challenge where nobody's watching, it's just you and the computer, then absolutely, it's all about your technical skill. Okay. So if you're not passing like hacker rank level interviews, it's your technical skills. Either you're too slow, or either you've not gotten enough practice to get through it quickly enough, or maybe so let's say they're interviewing 10 engineers and all of you have passed the hacker rank. I'm just using hacker rank as an example. All of you have passed the hacker rank. Well, the next thing they're going to look at is, okay, who solved it fastest. Okay. So if you're consistently getting through, but you're not fast enough, or your solution is not the most optimized solution, then you need to practice. The only way to get better at data structure and algorithm challenges is to practice. That's the only way. You're not going to just suddenly wake up one day and be better. You have to practice. What practice does is it exposes you to the patterns in DSAs. And once you recognize patterns quicker, you can work quicker. Okay. Once you recognize like the pattern that the solution is going to take, you can bring that solution out faster. Okay. So if that's where you're stumbling, which is in these unmoderated, they send you a link and you just take a challenge kind of interviews, the solution there is to practice. Okay. If it's the other kind of technical interview where you are live coding, so one of their engineers is with you and they are watching you and they're asking you questions, for that kind of technical screen, it's not just your technical ability. They are also evaluating your ability to communicate. Okay. So when you're coding, do you go silent or are you still talking? Are you explaining your process? If you're pseudocoding, explaining why you're pseudocoding. If you're creating a helper function, explaining why. That's what they are looking for. They are looking for your ability to be like a good pair programmer. They're evaluating whether you're going to be not necessarily personality, but they want to feel like they can work with you. Okay. So not just that you know the code and you are a 10x engineer. No, but they want to feel like, okay, if we are working together on a problem, are you going to fold at the slightest challenge? Are you going to, do you have the ability to communicate technical concepts, explain what you're doing, answer questions while you're working? Are you able to think of more than one way to do something? Like, that's what they're testing, not just your technical ability. And the way to get better at that is practice. You have to practice talking when you're coding. You have to practice talking out loud. You have to practice taking questions from someone while you're coding. That's what they are looking for. And so if you just go silent and you say, okay, you just, working and you're not, that's a negative signal. It doesn't matter if you actually solve the challenge they submitted to you. If you were quiet during it, or if you became like bothered, or you became defensive, to their questions, that's a negative signal and they're not going to pass you. Okay. So I'm going to stop there. I don't want to talk for too long because it seems like that's where favor, those are the points at which favor is not getting passed in the process. So I'm just going to end it there. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. So I would like to ask you probably on behalf of favor on the first point of the rejection and the application stage. There are companies that use softwares to screen and not humans. They use software to screen at the first stage. Then when it gets to the second stage, the humans will pick up to the last stage. So what if in favor's scenario, the software on the first stage are affecting him? Because I know some international companies will say they need people from their country or somebody close to their region. We want people from Europe. Okay, maybe we want to cover people from Europe or coming from America. So what would you say on that, Favor?
Yes, so that's definitely, I mean, it kind of makes me upset because at the end of the day, being able to do the work is being able to do the work. The truth is sometimes countries are limited from where they can hire from based on tax implications. So if they don't have an arrangement, like some sort of arrangement that they've created to be able to hire from that country, it affects them in terms of taxes and other obligations to the government. That's the truth. Okay. So sometimes like being unable to hire from countries is nothing personal. It's just like I can speak for America and all its tax laws. Okay, like they can be very restricting. Another thing is like Wisdom just alluded to, which is the overlap between work hours. So if there's like a customer aspect to the job, like it might not necessarily be customer service, but if there's like a customer aspect where part of your job involves like collaborating with, either customers or being available to certain group of people, they may want you to be available during certain work hours. And so if your country's location doesn't overlap sufficiently with their work hours, it's not going to work out. Again, it's not personal. So I think if you want to work for an international company, it behooves you to do your due diligence so that you don't waste energy on an interview that probably is not going to go anywhere. Okay. So do your due diligence, like, check for people on LinkedIn, ask questions, find their official email, ask questions, get a sense for, does this company hire from my country, or do they hire, because you may be in another, like I know Nigerians who live in Europe, right? So it really boils down to the country where you have legal ability to work. My former company, Forum, they hired from all over the world. We had developers in South Africa, in Russia, in Costa Rica, in Japan. Like we had developers from everywhere. Yes, but they took the time to make sure that legally they were allowed to do that and they were in compliance with all the legal, requirements. Yes, a lot of companies will not do that. They don't want to do that. Okay. So that's what I would say about that, is just take your time. A lot of companies, another thing to also like explore is contract. So they may not be able to hire you as a full time, because with America, when you're full time, you are entitled to benefits in addition to your base salary. Yes. But as a contractor, they will just pay you your money. There's no benefit, there's nothing like that. And some companies are set up to hire people like that. But it may not be like a popular way that they hire. So they might be doing that for people they really want. So you can also inquire like, okay, is contract an option for developers that are overseas? Find that out. Yes, that would be my answer.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that. Okay, so let's hear from Umar.
Yeah, hello. Hi everyone. My name is Umar. I'm going to say a big thank you to Wisdom for coming up with such a great topic. Honestly, I was about doing something, so when I came on my Twitter, I saw the topic. I really have to join because I know this is something that I'm going to be needing. And I have two questions actually. One for David and one for Queen, the Queen of the House. Yes. So, my question for David is, I listened to everything he said, like how he started his journey and where he is now. Honestly, it's an inspirational one, and I'm going to keep that to myself. So what I want to ask David is, was there a point in time where he felt like giving up and he was also procrastinating? If yes, how did he overcome that?
Dave, are you there? All right. So while we're waiting for Dave,
Okay.
so Queen.
Should I go ahead and ask Queen? Okay.
Yeah.
Queen of the
So
House. If you
Omar. So
don't,
let's take. Hi, Omar. Omar,
yes, I
let's
can.
let's take the question one at a time, so we don't probably get to mix. So
Okay.
let's just take the first one, then after I answer, you can take the second one. So Queen, I don't know if you have anything to say on that. I know you do.
Oh, okay. I think Omar had a separate question for David and a separate one for me. So I think the first
Yes,
one was for
exactly.
David. Then he has another one that he wants to ask me.
Yes.
Are you sharing question? Okay, go ahead, Omar.
Well, I beg, I'm not sure if there are questions. Okay, so I can go ahead to ask Queen.
Yeah, you can ask Queen because Dave, maybe network is bad on his side now.
Okay, okay. Queen, my question is when you started speaking, okay, I went to check your profile and I got to notice you mentioned on your profile that a developer at a certain age, which you happen to indicate there. So I just got curious, like, how was it like, at that age you mentioned you were able to become a developer? How was the journey like, and what really kept you moving, and to an extent that at that particular age you mentioned there, you were able to achieve what you wanted to do, irrespective of the, maybe age, what is it called? That's that.
So Omar is just being polite. Thank you for that. The age is 38. So I was 38 when I landed my first developer job. I learned to code at 37. How was it? It was very tough. It was very tough. I think to date is the hardest thing I've ever done. Um, because, and I didn't even realize it at the time. I think I was a little naive, but even then I felt like it was going to be like a huge task. Prior to that, I had been a homemaker for 6+ years, almost 7 years. And so I hadn't been in the job market for almost 7 years. I had like some small business here and there, but I hadn't worked a professional job in almost 7 years. And so I felt like I had that to overcome, and then switching into a completely different career field. So my degree is in biology and chemistry, and I previously worked in public health. Okay. So I'm coming from like, just a completely different background into this, technical field. It was tough. I attended boot camp. Boot camp was where I learned what I learned that I used to get my job. My boot camp was 6 months long. It was online, virtual boot camp. But I started boot camp at the time my last child, my daughter, was 5 months old. And I had like a traumatic birth experience with her. And I was,
We can hear you, Queen.
hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. I
Okay.
can.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think Wisdom. Can someone tell Wisdom I'm speaking if he can hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, so it was, I was dealing with that. I was dealing with the fact that my daughter didn't like anything other than breast milk.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, but it's
Oh, it's
breaking.
breaking. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. Hopefully it's clear. Anyway, so yes, it was tough.
Wisdom is your network.
It's Wisdom's network. We
Oh,
can hear her
okay,
clearly.
that's
Actually,
good.
it's not
Yeah,
breaking.
clearly.
Okay, thank you. So it was tough. There was a lot going on just in terms of my responsibilities. What kept me going was my desire for money, because that was the motivation. And I say that without any sense of like embarrassment or no, like, because it's the truth. I wanted to be, Abigail, what is it?
Do you have something flat and big that I can use?
Okay, can you come and ask me like in 5 minutes? Please, my love.
Please?
Okay, I'm coming, okay? All right. Yeah, so it was my desire for not just money, like, okay, just put money in my hand, but I wanted a well-paying career. Okay, I was at a point in my life where I had dreams, I had goals. There were things I wanted to achieve, I wanted to accomplish, like, a college fund for my children. There were desires that I had for myself that I knew a well-paying career would help me achieve those things. So that was my major motivation. It wasn't, people say, oh, passion. I'm passionate about not being broke. Okay. Like, I enjoyed the process of coding. Don't get me wrong, but the deepest motivation for me was the potential. I knew that if I landed this career, I could grow in it and I could exponentially, so to give you a picture, when I left my professional life in public health, my salary was $48,000 a year, 48,000 a year. Contrast that with my starting salary as a developer. My very first job was, after bonus, was 95,700. So I almost doubled, right? My last salary from my previous industry. Yes. So that was my motivation, was knowing that it wouldn't just be an achievement, but it would be an achievement in a field where if I work smart and I work hard, I can really increase my earning power, which will give me, like I said, I had certain goals, financial goals that I wanted to accomplish. So that's what kept me going. It was hard. It was tough. I don't want to get it. I could tell stories of how difficult it was. But what kept me going was, I've come this far and I know that this is a fruitful field. Like, I knew that if I can just get my foot in the door, that's all I need. Once my foot is in the door, I will start climbing and I will start heading for my goals. Yes. So that's what kept me going. Mhm.
Honestly, Queen, I don't even know what to say, but you just saved me here, honestly, and I will make sure I keep to heart all the things that you said. If I feel let down, I will definitely remember everything you said, and I'll keep going, honestly, because I have a job here in Nigeria. I work with one of the telco companies here in Nigeria. Okay,
All right.
okay. Sorry, Wisdom. Okay. So, Queen, thank you very much. I appreciate.
Wisdom, I think you're having network issues.
Yeah, hi, Omar. Thank you so much. Dave, I guess you're available. Umar had the question for you. I don't know if you, Omar, can go with a question for Dave.
Oh, okay, Wisdom. Thank you. So, Mr. David, like you said before, you were offline, if I'm not mistaken. I
Yeah, sorry about
mentioned that. No, it's okay. I listened to all you said, like your journey, how you started, and all that, and where you are now. So, I want to ask you: was there a point in time where you felt like giving up, and at the end of the day, you didn't? And was there a point in time where you were procrastinating as well?
Okay. That's a difficult question for me
Yeah,
to
we can hear you
answer.
clearly. I know the network is really bad today.
You can hear me?
Oh, we
We
can hear you. Can hear you
we
loud
can
and
hear
clear.
you. I think it's Wisdom's network. Yeah, we can
Maybe
hear
so.
you. I can hear everyone clearly.
Hi,
Okay.
Dave, go ahead.
Okay. Why that's a difficult question for me is because if you read my year in review, you would have realized that I said my elder brother, who is the father figure of my family, did not want me to go into tech because maybe I'll call it ignorance, but to him, if I went into tech, the highest I would achieve is owning a cyber cafe because that is what he believed was the best that you could get from pressing computers. That's his perception of it. And for me, it was something that I was passionate about, and I wanted to prove him wrong by all means, even though I had my own personal goals. So my starting tech, I was self-driven. I knew this was my only way out because I had to scrape every dime. I had to do 30 jobs to raise money to get a laptop. So all of that was just so I can start this thing and actually become something and then prove this person wrong also. So I did not really I had a lot of challenges with learning myself since I didn't have a mentor. I had to follow my own roadmap. So yes, I had those challenges, but I did not have issues of maybe procrastination. But before I started, yes, I procrastinated a lot. Even when I got my laptop initially, I was confused at first. I did not know where I should start because yes, I want to get
Yeah,
into
Dave,
coding.
your voice, your call is cracking.
Are you sure it's not your own
No,
network?
Oh,
it's not. No, it's not. It's
Yeah, I can
not.
hear you clearly,
I
but it's
can hear
breaking.
him clearly, actually.
Wisdom, can you hear us? Because it appears it's your network that is faulty. Wisdom,
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes.
it's your network that has issues. Maybe you should, I don't know, maybe step down and come back again.
Hi. All right. Let me walk around.
Okay. So as I was saying, I think the only time I procrastinated was after I got the laptop. I did not know what to do next. So I went online. I was confused what programming language to learn first. I did not know what I wanted to do. If I wanted to do backend, front end, I was just roaming about. And then after that, when I finally made up my mind, I made my research. I found out that each programming language is best suited for certain things. And then I decided, okay, I wanted to do web development. I checked and found out, okay, I need HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So once I mapped out my journey, stacks I needed to learn, I think that was it for me. It was just about learning it. So it was about devoting a certain amount of time daily into achieving that goal. I think I struggled initially. I was learning at maybe 3 hours, 4 hours. It was a struggle because I had an agenda which was I would be doing maybe 8 hours every day because it was lockdown. I had a lot of time to myself. I think I struggled initially because I was not used to sitting in one place just pressing a laptop for that long. So other than those petty challenges, I did not have any other thing that I would say stopped me from doing what I wanted to do. It was just I needed to prove this guy wrong. I was very self-driven, self-motivated, so I put all my effort into that. I don't know if that answered the question. Uma,
Yes,
can you hear
yes,
me?
you did actually. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Ma. So let's hear from Josie.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Wisdom, for this space and for letting me speak here. So, and thank you, everyone that has been responding. Queen, David, your answers has been amazing. And well, I wanted to speak because of some questions being asked, and I would start from the question Uma asked about having some times where you feel you procrastinate or you feel like you would stop and stuff like that. So, well, for me, during the course of my career, I never had a period where I wanted to entirely stop because I liked what I was doing and I had a little passion for it and a little passion for money as well. So I didn't have like a total time I wanted to stop, but I kind of had times I procrastinated and times that I couldn't move forward on particular issues. So the first one in particular was doing backend. So the first time was when I was trying to learn object-oriented programming. So I was already doing PHP and like building several projects on PHP, but I didn't know what OOP was. Well, I hear about it every day. I tried learning it, but it was not entering. I tried to learn it using Java as well. It wasn't going anywhere. So, but what helped me in this aspect was a community. So, and how it started was like joining a community. So if you could see a community and you can join, do well to do that. So the community I joined as a then was Andela Learning Community, and that is where I actually met with Wisdom in Port Harcourt. And I joined and I was doing Android. Like I forgot about web and I was doing Android. And if you're doing Java, everything is object. You use OOP like in everything you are doing. So that was like one way I got to like start using the resources provided by Andela and start learning, start asking questions, communicating with people. And I was able to get over that. I think another point where I had procrastinated and kind of wanted like not entirely give up, but like kept postponing when to continue was when applying for jobs. So like at a point, yes, I know I wanted to get a foreign job. So, and I was applying and nothing was going on. So like the first question I think it was Favor that asked it about you keep applying and you don't get anything. Well, I was in that like in 2019, 2020, early 2021, like I was in deep of that. So I would apply to tens of jobs and I don't get a single call. Like everything you get is unfortunately like, so, but even before that, I already stopped applying. Like I just said I would like try to improve my CV, improve my DSA skills and all that. But I wasn't doing anything. So, but how it all happened was having friends. Like again, it's good if you could meet and have friends that you have the same goal. So you're probably at the same stage and you're all self-driven and as well can help drive each other. So I had these two friends that reached out to me and was asking me if we could collab to start solving algorithm questions and start applying for jobs. Well, reluctantly, I was like, okay, let's do it. And I was just feeling like if we do this for like 1 month, everybody will just face their jobs because we all had jobs we were doing. But we started it. And as we started, our aim was to be applying to, I think we started with 10 jobs every week and solving 2 algorithm questions on HackerRank every week. So we had an Excel sheet, for instance, and everybody has his own sheet inside the Excel sheet. And you apply for a job, you put the link, the company, the location, and you apply, you leave the links there. And you also put the question you solved on HackerRank. And on Saturday, we have a call where everybody explain their solution. So that's the way we did it. And we said if anyone defaults, the person pays some amount, which the other 2 shares. So we started that. Well, in that Excel sheet, like it's still available right now, like hundreds of jobs. Like I had like more than 100 jobs I applied for. And I'm not sure if I got 2 calls from those jobs. Yeah, but well, we kept doing that. And with the skills we are building, solving algorithm questions, we kept improving our profiles and everything. To cut the story short, I had those moments, and what helped me, like I mentioned, was having a community and having friends who are at the same stage that you can call, tell them what you're feeling, and they'll tell you they're feeling the same way. And people could work and hold each other accountable to move forward. So that's like just the input I wanted to give on these questions. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank you very
Jose,
much.
for that contribution.
I really appreciate it.
All right. So let's hear from Tech Bro.
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Yeah, good evening.
Thank you very much, Wisdom, for giving me an opportunity to speak on your space. Thank you, David, for co-hosting. Thank you, Queen. Thank you, Doze, for your last comment, and everybody else. I really appreciate. This is likely like my first time speaking on the space. I don't think I know anybody on this space. I just came online and I saw this on my, Tombotron, and I had to just join. I don't belong to any tech community because I'm pretty much new in tech, but if you permit me, I'd like to say a few things in response to what other people have said. Professionally, I'm a marine engineer, but I moved fully into tech May last year. But so it's obviously not up to a year I've been in tech fully, but in less than a year, I have made tremendous improvement, and I think I've done pretty well for someone who just came into tech less than a year. I'm just going to share something, and then it's to answer the question of the guy who said, sometimes you try to reach out to people who are higher than you in the industry, but they don't make out time for you. So, being someone who's like less than a year professional in tech, as a software developer, I do full stack, JavaScript and Node Express. I had that same issue trying to reach out to people, but the truth is, no one's going to give you their time because they are equally busy, not because they are proud, but because they are genuinely busy. So what I did at the time when I started learning was that I didn't just reach out to people. I reached out to people, but they didn't want to respond because they were genuinely busy, maybe. But what I did was I had to go into the box and create projects and then reach out to them based on those projects. So let's say I build a movie app and I send it to someone I quite admire in the industry. I said I built a movie app I admire you a lot, and I just want you to look at it and give me a sincere opinion. You see, any senior dev would want to look at what you've done. You're not asking him to leave his job and come teach you, but you're giving him his credit for who he is, and then you're showing him something you've built. You have to be involved, like actively involved, doing something for anyone to want to leave their thing and then focus on you. Because currently, I'm in that space right now where people reach out to me on TikTok, on Twitter or LinkedIn, but then I can't be looking at your source code because I'm busy, right? But if you reach out to me with a project, I might want to look at it and give you feedback. So I think that answers it. So when you want to reach out to your senior developers, go to them with something you've done, not telling them, how can I send a div? No one's going to respond to that. And lastly, my first job in tech, I don't know if it's allowed. My first job in tech, I was just learning Bootstrap, and I got a job with a foreign company, and I was being paid 2.9 million. It's crazy because the company thought I was good. They thought I was like up there. But I was just 2 months in tech. I was learning Bootstrap CSS. And this company employed me for 2.9M. And I was scared because deep down, bro, I just finished HTML last week. So what I did was I had to reach out to someone, and I literally had to pay someone who is more of a senior developer to come stay with me for 3 months, live in my house, feed from my pot, but then assist me and help me grow on the job. And we did that for 3 months till I was comfortable enough to work with it. It's a foreign company. Till I was comfortable enough to work on my own. So in a very short space of time, what I was able to do was get a lot of senior developers as friends, very senior developers as friends. And if I don't tell you I'm new, you will never know, because on my GitHub, I have well over 44 projects. Like well over 44 completed projects on my GitHub. So if I don't tell you I'm less than a year, you'll never know. Because when I come to you, you think like, man, bro, this guy has been coding for years. So first thing, when you reach out to these people, come on a more serious note, and then look for people who are better. And when you reach out to a senior developer, don't go empty-handed. It's not like he's hungry. But sometimes when I go to see some of my friends who are higher than I am, on my way there, I just get them something. I don't think if I come to your house with a bottle of wine and say, bro, I came to greet you. And as you are gisting, I'm saying, hey, so you see this, not greet, at that point, you will just feel like, okay, maybe you should respond to me. You feel me? So I think firstly, try to get those senior guys, try to appreciate them in substance. It is very important. They don't need it, but then it's something, right? Appreciate them in substance, especially when they take out time to attend to you. Sometimes it could just be data. It doesn't have to be much. It could be like 1,000 naira data. Next time, if you reach out, he's going to respond. I'm only saying this because I think amongst so many developers who have been coding for a while, I'm proud to say I'm less than a year in the tech industry, but by the grace of God, I have gone quite handsomely well. I've worked for 2 foreign companies. Currently, I'm full stack. I'm good. You feel me? But I've worked for 2 foreign companies. I've worked for 1 Nigerian company. Currently doing freelance. I have products currently for sale that I developed on my own. But this would not have been possible if I didn't try to link out to people out there and appreciate them with my substance. So please appreciate the senior guys with your substance, and I think they would be glad to respond. Everybody's busy. They just need to see how serious and how committed you are. So thank you very much. I think that's all I have to say, and God bless everybody. I wish us all the best.
Yeah, thank you, Tech Bro, for that contribution. That was very valuable. Hi, Emmanuel. I'm going with your question.
Okay, hi, Wisdom. Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. So, my question is to Tech Bro, actually, although I'm not a software developer, but I'm currently into product management. Yeah, I'm still learning. Of course, I'm trying to find a way to get jobs and the rest. So, but he said something so profound. He said 2 months into tech, transitioning, you got a job that's paying him 2.9 million. That's crazy, right? But then I just want to know, what was in your portfolio, right? Like your GitHub account, your GitHub, what portfolio did you have? that warranted you that job? And maybe you could just tell us, what strategy did you use? I think it will help a lot of us here to know, but like, it's crazy, right? So I don't know if you get it. So just tell us strategy you used, like some of the things that were in your portfolio that helped you get that job. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that. So, Tech Bro, I would probably like you to be kind of snappy with the question.
Thank you very much, Wisdom and Emmanuel. All right, so apparently, like I said earlier, I had to make friends with a lot of senior dev, and I think one of them is currently on this space. He just joined. Asia Gobi just joined. As a matter of fact, he's the guy who stayed with me when I got one of my first foreign jobs, right? So apparently the thing was, I had a lot of friends with senior devs who at the time didn't know my capacity because of how much I post on LinkedIn. My name is Justice Israel Agboma. You can check me out on LinkedIn. I post so much on LinkedIn that anyone would think that I'm a top dev. So I just got a call one morning from one of my friends who works for a company in Silicon Valley. And he just said, Justice, do you want to work for a company? And I said, yes. He said, I have a company offer for you. No questions asked, no interview, no nothing. Because he just felt like I'm good. And that's how I got in. Nothing, no interview, no nothing. And I just got in. And they thought I was good. And Obiese is currently on this space. He just joined. And he came to my house and stayed with me, and he helped me out till I was good enough to just be on my own. So, and secondly, the second job I got for a UK company was actually the UK company that paid me 2.9. Someone just reached out to me. I post on my WhatsApp every day. You think I'm Mark Zuckerberg if you have my personal contact, because I post projects senior devs cannot build. So someone just reached out to me and said, you want to work for my company? It's a hospital in UK. I said, yes. And that's how I got a job. No questions asked, no nothing, no interview, no GitHub, no portfolio, nothing. They just felt like I'm good. They just felt I'm good. And that's how I got it. So maybe it's not by my power, but then that's what I did. Nothing special.
All right, thank you for that. So, Queen, I think you probably have something to say about this. No interview, whatever, just what he has been posting, and he probably just jumping straight to the job at all.
I don't think she's available.
Okay. All right. So, thank you for that, Tech Bro. I also have a story to share, something like that too. My first remote job, a company just reached out to me. I didn't do any interview. Just reached out to me. Do you want to work? I said yes. I don't even know how he got my email address. Want to work? You want to do this? I said yes, I'm ready. When are you going to start? I said the Monday. I said the next day. That was on a Thursday. I said, okay, let's start on Monday. And that was it. I started working. So I was scared because I was wondering, like, was it real? So I said, okay, if I get my first salary, then I will know that I'm working for a real company. So I got my first salary. I checked and I saw, yes, this is a real alert. It's not a fake alert. That was when I knew, yeah, I'm working for a real company. So it happens. It really happens, because when people share stories like this, you probably think it's a lie. Like when David shared that somebody reached out to him that, hey, I've seen what you're doing so far online. And because of what he was doing, the lady that gave him money to get the laptop knew that he was genuine with that. Because I know people will come online and say, my laptop has spoiled, this one and that one, and you probably hear some stories. Within them, they will probably feel, I think this person would not really take the money to buy a laptop. He wants to do something with it. Many people have that doubt. But when they go through your profile and they see what you're posting, they will harder believe, like you said, they believe that you're good. And because you presented yourself like you're good. So I think this would be a take home for everybody. Try to present yourself like you're good, even if you're not good. So far it will probably help a lot. Yeah, thank you for that, Tech Bro. So Idris, do you have anything to say on that? Hi, Idris. Hi there. Okay, so let's hear from Dave.
Oh, sorry. Were you asking me a question?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry. Which one? Please let me go. Yes. Okay. Sorry. I was talking on the phone. I'm sorry. Please repeat the question. I'll answer.
All right. Yeah. So Tech Bro said he got paid 2.9 million over here for a foreign company, and how he got hired was just sharing what he's building so far, and he was just 2 months into tech, and everybody around him, both the seniors he was interacting with, they thought that he was very good, and that was how he got 2 jobs. No interview, no nothing. He just went straight to start working. So, do you have anything to say about that? As probably you're a hiring manager. Have you ever been in that situation before? You hire somebody, you don't want to do interview, you just know the person is good. Let's just go straight, sign the contract and start working.
The truth is that this happens, and I celebrate that for you, Tech Bro. That's an amazing achievement. Congratulations. The truth is, it happens. Just practically, I will celebrate this kind of stories all day long because it's an achievement and you deserve to be celebrated. But they are not common. They are not common. And I think that's where I exercise caution, right? Is there are a lot of things that kind of have to come into alignment for something like that to happen. It's not just that you walk into a company and blah. No, a lot of things will come. Like I heard part of his story, how hard he has worked, even though it's just a year, but he has worked very, very hard. He has built projects. He has networked. He has been in communities. Like he has put it, he didn't just wake up and learn to code in 2 months and then he landed this contract. No, it didn't happen like that, right? So there's a lot that goes into it. And even with the hard work that he did and the consistency that he had, a lot of elements still need to align. And when I say align, these are elements that are not in your control. It wasn't in Tech Bro's control, the person who decided just to hire him. It wasn't, Tech Bro didn't do jazz, like it wasn't in his control. So you also need the alignment of somebody who is willing to, it's a risk, right? It's a risk that has paid off. Tech Bro has the skills, he has the competencies, he has created value for these companies, right? But it was still a risk on the company's part to do that, right? So you kind of already need that person with that mentality of, taking a risk like that and just maybe even being in a good mood that day. You see what I'm saying? There are so many things that need to be aligned for an outcome like that. That you need to be careful that you don't take Tech Bro's amazing experience and turn it into a template for how your own need to happen. Okay. My first job didn't happen like that. I can definitely tell you that, my first job in tech didn't happen like that. Yes. So what you can take from Tech Bro's story is the work he put in, his consistency, the fact that even though he felt tired, he kept going. The fact that he connected with community, you can take what he did. It definitely puts you in a better position, even if you don't have his experience. If you do what he did to level up technically and position yourself and learn in public and all of that, it will definitely put you in a better position to take advantage of potential work opportunities. Yes. But please don't, because let me tell you something. When you covet someone else's blessing, you actually remove the space for your own. Okay. The way something is going to happen for you, if you end up, like coveting and, like almost lusting after someone else's experience. I'm not saying you should not want a job. No, that's different. That's general. I'm not saying you shouldn't want employment. That's general. I'm saying be careful that you don't want it to happen for you exactly as it happened with Tech Bro. Because by doing that, not only will you not get what Tech Bro got, but you are now you are failing to create room for how your own breakthrough will happen. You see what I'm saying? You are no longer focused on your own unique journey. You are now trying to force your journey into the pattern of another person's journey, and that never works. It never does. Yeah. So that's what I would say. It's an amazing achievement. I'm very, very happy. That's a good payday. 2.9. I just converted it to dollar. I'm like, That's that's a good payday any day. That's a good payday. Very happy for you. But the reality is people get jobs in different ways, and people climb too. It's not everybody that their first one or their first few ones they are making beaucoup d'argent. I know developers that their first job was paying them $40,000. Or 30 something. Like I know a developer, his very first job was paying him 30 something thousand. And he worked there for about 6 months. And then he got a second job. The second job was paying him 60 something thousand. So you see, he doubled. And then the next job, that was it's his third job that got him into 6 figures. Now he's a very high paid site reliability engineer. Okay. But he started at a level that, at least for tech in here in America, they will say, yeah, what kind of salary is that? 30 something, like there are some developers that will turn their nose up at that. Like, what is 30 something, But in a few short years, he was already in the 6 figures and now he's very well paid. He's been working for a number of years now as a site reliability, but he's very well. But he started like in the 30s, which is lower than some other industries that doesn't require as much work as a developer needs to put in, you see. But that was how he got his foot in the door. Okay, so the race is the race. As long as you get to your finish line, that's all that counts. Okay, don't worry about the hare that got there in 5 minutes. Don't worry about the turtle that got there in 7 days. Don't worry about the worm that got there in 3 months. Like, who cares? As long as you get to your own finish line and as long as you get to your own victory, that's what matters. Okay, that's what I'll say.
All right, yeah, thank you so much for that. Like I said earlier, I also had that experience when I started. My first job was also a remote. Okay, sorry, my second was a remote, and I didn't apply. I just got a mail, and I was my wife then. I was like, I don't understand though. I think this is a scam. She said, no, I should respond to this. So I responded. Okay, I'm ready to work. I said, okay, I'll start the next day. The man said, no, start on Monday. I said, okay, let me start. Started working. I wanted to be sure. I said, okay, till I get my first alert. So I got my first alert. That was when I knew that, yes, I'm working for a real company, not a scam. But I didn't apply. I just got a mail. I ready to work. I didn't even know how he got my email, and I didn't want to ask because I didn't want to spoil anything. Let me just leave it like that. So it happens. So I also would like you to talk on relationship because I will share a little story that happened to me. I applied to a company and I got to the last stage, and as at then I was also interviewing with another company, and I accepted the other company and told the interviewer that, okay, I've already accepted and I don't think I will continue. So while on that, the hiring manager, I made her my friend, so we started talking. I have a technical writing community. I invited her to speak and we became friends. So years after then, I was looking for a new opportunity, and I saw that her company, the company she worked for, they have an opening. So I applied straight, and when I recalled, I had to send her a mail that, hey, I see your company is hiring. I would like to apply. Oh, sorry, I've already applied. She said, okay, let me send you my own recommendation link. So she sent the link to me and I applied. 2 days after, I got an acceptance email. 3 days after, I got rejected. Now rejected from the first link and accepted from her recommendation link. Then I had the first interview. The interviewer, before even we started talking, he just wanted to know the kind of relationship I had with that lady. I said, she's just my friend and I normally invite her in most of my events and that's all. I've not even seen her in person. It was like, okay. So that was like telling, I don't know what she said, but what she said I know made sense. And in short, I think what she said was too deep. Maybe, I don't know. Even when I got to the second and third interview, they all asked me who the lady is to me. So I don't know what she said, but because I know I tried my best to make her know that I'm very good at what I do, maybe she preached much more than that. But, that was how that played because of the relationship I had with the lady. She had to recommend me and say things that made everybody they always ask me who I am to the lady. So I know many people here might find themselves in a situation where they play with relationships they probably don't like. keeping relationships. And I think maybe if you can stress on that, that would help people to learn that it's important to, value relationships. Even if you've not met, like I said, the lady, I've not met her before. I've not seen her. It's just through an interview as a hiring manager. That was it.
That's an amazing story, Wisdom, and you are very right. You are very right. You see, how will I put this? Your wealth in your career are your professional relationships. That is actually your wealth, not however much money they are paying you, although that's nice too, okay? But it's really not that. It's your professional relationships, because as human beings, we tend to trust people we know more, okay? We tend to trust people. It shows up in so many ways. Like, if you ask law enforcement officials, they'll tell you that when someone goes missing or when someone is, unfortunately killed, one of the first suspects is their family members. Just like that. Like that's their working model. They don't immediately go to a stranger breaking in or whatever. No, they start investigating the people that person, that victim knew. Okay. So that's how we are as human beings. We end up trusting people we know. Okay. So the way that works professionally is that if and I've seen it, I mean, not just in my professional life, but I've seen it play out in so many ways. My former job, we were hiring a head of engineering, and I come to find out that one of the candidates was a lady. She's local to me here, and we actually were on a podcast together. We were like, were two of the panelists on a tech podcast together before the podcast was shut down, right? So that's how I met her. That's how we met. We had coffee a few times. She's local to me here. So I found out that she was one of the candidates for the head of engineering position at my company. She didn't ask me to do this. I immediately contacted the CEO and the CTO, and I told them, this is who you want to hire. That's all I said. I just said this. I don't know how many is in the pipeline. It's a high level position, so I know we don't have like so many people. So I don't know how many people are in the pipeline, but this is the woman you want to hire. And they were like, okay, thank you for your feedback. We appreciate that. And that was it. 2 weeks later, she got the job. I'm not saying I got her the job, okay? Of course she got the job on her merit. I'm just saying that I will not be surprised if my recommendation helped tip the scales in her favor. Because ultimately, human beings like to go with people that are known and people that other people vouch for and all of that. Okay, so how do you make this work for you? You need to take your professional relationships seriously. Okay, how do you do that? Well, first of all, you need to make those connections. So you're on LinkedIn, you follow people. Let me tell you one of the best ways to catch someone's attention. Don't just enter their DMs cold. Okay, you enter my DMs cold. Okay, maybe I can't use myself. I'm more generous. Like, entering someone's DMs cold is not the best way to get their attention. At best, they may think you're weird and like be more tempted to ignore you. At worst, they block you. There's some people that they get so many DMs, like their automatic reaction to a cold DM is just to block the person. Okay? So this is how you go about it, particularly on social media platforms like Twitter, LinkedIn, and all of that. Engage with their content. That's how you do it. Okay? Don't just slide into someone's DMs. Engage with their content. There's a guy on Twitter, on tech Twitter, called Remy Daniels. The reason I even know his name is because I noticed that whenever I was in a space and I was speaking, if Remy was in that space, he will start tweeting me. He will start quote tweeting me. He will quote me like 20 times in that space. And he will tag my name. And he will quote me and he will tag. And I noticed that he kept doing it. The only time he didn't do it is if he wasn't in the space with me. But if he was in the space with me, Remy is quoting. And that was how he never entered my DMs. He never sent me. He never even like interacted with me directly, like through comment or whatever. But he was consistently quote tweeting me. And that was how I took note of him. That like now I know his name. You see what I'm saying? So the day he does DM me, you best believe I'm going to respond. Okay, so that's one of the best ways to get someone's attention or to put yourself on someone's radar. It's just to interact with their content organically. I'm not saying blow smoke up the ass. I'm not saying flatter them. No, don't be fake, right? But just engage with their content as much as you can, all right? Follow them on Twitter, not on Twitter, sorry, on LinkedIn. If you can, some people they've maxed out their connection. So don't take it personal if someone doesn't accept your connection request, okay? But definitely follow them and all of that. That's how you maintain. Now, when it comes to now DMing people, you need to have a strategy. Please do not say hi, hello, good morning, and that's the only thing you say. No, don't do that. Okay? If you want to reach out to someone, this is how you do it. You greet them, hello, or you say good morning. You say, my name is what. I'm reaching out to you because you want to lead with the connection. You need to tell me, why are you choosing me to reach out to me? Is it something I said? Is it something you heard me say? Is it something I wrote? Something I posted? Like, let the person know, okay, this is why I'm choosing you to reach out. I'm reaching out to you because you wrote this, and it resonated with me because this. Then you go to your ask, okay? All in the same message. Don't split it up into multiple messages. It's just everything I'm saying is all in the same message. Then you go to your ask. I was wondering if this. And then you provide a short reason. Like provide a reason for why it will be helpful for them to do that thing for you. I was wondering if you could this, because if you did this would happen. Okay? So that's your ask. All right? After your ask, give them permission to decline. That's a hack. That's a psychological hack. Okay? Don't just ask someone for something. Give them permission to decline. Let them know that declining is okay. So you end with saying, I understand if you can't this. I appreciate you for reading, or I appreciate you for considering. You tell them thank you in some way, but make sure to put it there that I understand, or you can say it's perfectly fine if you can't, or if you can't do it this time, like just give them a way to graciously decline. It's a psychological hack. Typically, when you do that, you increase the chance of someone even considering you or considering doing that thing for you. Okay? You want to put all of that in one message so that you don't have this awkward back and forth. Good morning. Then you're waiting for them. What will they tell you? Good morning. And how are you doing today? And then you're waiting 2, 3, 5 days for that. I mean, you're not going to get anywhere. And chances are you're increasing the irritation factor. I'm just being very frank because you're a stranger. They don't know who you are. If my sister tells me good morning, I'll definitely tell her she's my sister, but I don't know you from Adam, right? So when you do those hello, hi, good morning DMs, it doesn't serve anybody, okay? So that's the way to actually, but please don't be sliding in someone's DM until you have established some sort of connection. You've put yourself on their radar in some way, shape, or form, right? Before you're DMing them. And then just in terms of, once the connection is warm. So what I mean by warm is that maybe you've had an exchange with them on the DMs, and, you feel like, okay, you're sufficiently on their radar and all of that. Then you want to, gradually let them know about what you're doing, So like, I know some people that will post their recent app that they built and they'll tag me. Okay? If you do this and I don't know you, I mute your tweet and I ignore you. Strangers do it, I don't pay attention. The only people I pay attention to who do that are people who have established a connection with me already. Okay? So again, you're sort of letting them know, oh, this is what I'm about, this is who I'm about, so that when the time comes to now ask for a recommendation or a referral to a job or something else, right? You have played your cards right. and the person feels that they know you professionally. Again, these are not personal relationships. These are professional relations, which is different. Some of you are out here connecting with people trying to be their friend. No. That's not what we're doing. If the friendship comes organically, that's different. But don't be trying to connect with someone on a personal. No, it's professional. It's always about the work. It's always about who you are professionally. There's nothing personal. There was someone that tried to do it with me. I didn't know them from anywhere, and they were telling me, oh, I remember the tweet about your daughter. That's so wonderful. I wonder how old she is. I wonder. Now, I blocked them immediately because why are you asking me about my child? Right? Now, to their credit, they probably felt like, they were doing something okay. But understand that, first of all, we really don't know. Like, I recognize Wisdom because I've seen him on Twitter. I recognize David because I've seen him on Twitter, but I don't know them. Like, I don't know. Like, I can't roll up to David's house and knock on the door and expect it to be opened. I don't know him like that. Hey. So we need to understand that these are professional connections, nothing else. Okay, don't be weird. Okay, just keep it professional. Yes, and then that's when your network can come through for you. I'll end with this. There's a young gentleman that I'm currently, I won't say who he is, but there's a young gentleman that I'm currently helping to get a job here in the United States, and I'll tell you why. Because first of all, whenever I've heard them speak on Twitter Space, always intelligent, always very balanced. It's not one of these cloud chasers, or like, controversy stirrers, okay? Always very intelligent, always very balanced, and then come to find out they have a small community of developers, and then he invited me to join, which I did because I have my own community, but I also belong to others, so I did, and then I get to see him functioning in the community almost like a mentor, not almost, he's functioning like a mentor, he's helping these developers to level up, definitely skilled, definitely talented. And so after watching him for a few weeks or months, I'm like, okay, then I ask, I'm like, okay, what are you doing? Where are you? Come to find out the guy is doing gigs. And I'm like, you're doing gigs and you're this talented. He said, well, he hasn't had success in just conventional job hunting and all of that. It's the gigs that he's using to keep himself afloat, So I've had the, opportunity to witness his very solid technical skills as a developer. And then he has the communication skills. He's running this small community. He's helping junior devs level up. I would want to work with him in the same company, so then I said, okay, you know what? I don't do this. Okay. I don't do this. It's not a common thing that I do. I reserve this kind of help for people that I feel are ready and they've demonstrated like a level of competency and emotional intelligence that I know I can stand behind. Okay. So we're in that process now, and I believe he will be successful because I have recruiters in my network that if I tell them to interview someone, they will. Just on the strength of my recommendation, they'll be like, okay, Aris, you said I should interview this person, I will. I'll give them first round just because you asked me. Okay. I don't play with those connections. I don't just refer anybody because my reputation is important. But I'm just giving that example to show you the power of networking. Okay? The power of behaving yourself on social media. Okay? Behave yourself on social media. Stay professional. Okay? Be professional. If you want to play the fool, create another account, an anonymous account, and use that one to play the fool. Okay? But in terms of your professional profile, remain professional. Okay? And then gradually build your connection with people. Don't think that anybody owes you anything. Just because you DM someone, they owe you, and they don't owe you shit. They don't. So don't walk around with that attitude that people owe you anything, because they don't. And that attitude will not get you far in your career. Okay? So yes, I know I've talked for so long, Wisdom. I'm not going to talk again after this. But networking is very, very important. It is. It's very important.
All right. Thank you so much, Queen. Thank you for that input. All right. So let's hear from, sorry, your name is not clear. Is it Hashnid or something? Sorry if I didn't pronounce your name very well. Hello, are you there? Hashney or Hashneed? Hello, Hashneed. Okay, I guess he's not there. All right. Let's probably take one more question, then we can probably wrap it up.
I have a question. Hello, David.
Okay, you can go on. We can hear you.
Yeah, I can go ahead. Go ahead. Hello, Hashney.
Sorry, my internet issue. Please continue
Go ahead.
your words. Continue your.
Sorry for the network. So, any other person have any question? So we can probably take that to wrap up. Okay, so while we're waiting for questions, so let's probably just wrap up. So let's probably take final words from David, Queen, and Dozie so we can wrap up. So Dave, do you have final words?
Okay. I think Queen Addis has mostly answered most of the points I wanted to address, which specifically refers to Tech Bro's story. Because I've been there, I had this incident where what I normally tweet about a lot is you should prioritize technical growth over anything, because especially over visibility, because you can be visible, you can get the role, and then you find out that you're technically not able to handle it, which I was in a position at one point where I was posting my projects and two companies reached out to me. At that time, I'd only learned HTML and CSS. I was very solid in my HTML and CSS, but I knew that I was not in a position to jump on a job, whereas I could have taken the route of Tech Bro. I could have accepted the job because the CEO came in friendly, we talked, we got to know each other, and he understood that, yes, this is where I am. And then said, okay, we can do a little bit of handholding. But I wanted to learn more. I wanted to grow a little more before I go for the cash. But a lot of people jump on. I think I saw it, like Emmanuel came on board, and immediately the first question he asked was about the 2-point-something million. How did you go about it? How did you get it? My advice is, most people have this grace where they can just post something and then some company will reach out to them and offer them a role. That's not a standard. That's not a benchmark. That's grace, and it applies to different people differently. Like the same thing that worked for me would probably not work for you. So if I use that as, if somebody else comes and uses this approach as a model for trying to land a role, like Pinari said, it will most likely fail. And I get that we are all looking to make money in tech, but my advice is always prioritize technical growth over money initially, because what I have come to learn is that your technical capacity is directly proportional to how much you can earn at whatever time. So you can take a little more time and learn and get to the point where a company will be willing to pay you 2.5 million. Like, I'm sure if 2.9 million, I'm sure if you, as you are, you're not very solid, you land a role that is paying you 2-point-something million. You don't have any senior dev like Tech Bro hard that can come to your house and stay with you and be helping you on the job for months. So that's just my advice. Prioritize technical growth over money initially. It helps, it pays in the long run. Please don't over to you.
All right, thank you so much for that. So let's hear from Dozie. So any final words?
Okay, for me, I would like to mention about connection. So connection, personal connection, like personal, I don't mean like you actually need to make friends and be very friendly with people, but connection. Personal, I mean, is like physical connections with people. So that's one of the things that helped me as well in my journey. Like the first job I got in PH was through someone I met in Andela Learning Community, and I got a job in the company I was working at. And the first job I got in Lagos was through a Twitter connection I had, and that's how I moved to Lagos. Well, it's all about connections, and the current job I'm doing now is through someone reaching out to me on LinkedIn. So these are like all about connections. So it's not really about me going to the company page, seeing the open position and applying. I tried it. Most of the ones I interviewed, okay, there are ones that work, like some other companies I worked in in Lagos worked that way, but connections that I had like got me some of the jobs I have currently. And if you're going through this path, like those people might just know you professionally and not that very well, and they will interview you. And if they would interview you, you will need to prove yourself. So that's where that your technical ability would play a very big role. So it will play a very big role. So which means you need to learn. And like Tech Bro mentioned, he had about 40 projects he said he already built. Even though he got that offer that way, he also had projects he was already working on showing himself. So it's a bit of balancing everything. Build your technical ability and be audible. Like you need to talk about what you're doing. For me, that's personally, I didn't even use that approach so much. I was just about consuming content across social media places, but I was sometimes trying to engage. But you need to try to balance these things at this stage, like learn and keep learning, keep looking for projects to do, make friends. When I mean friends, you need to have friends as well that are doing the same thing that you're doing, which are your friends. So these people would help you personally in times where things are very challenging, where you want to give up, where you don't know what next to do. So these are the people you talk to. And have communities as well. With the community, you hear about what people are doing, what people can do, and what is achievable. And then you build along and try to talk about it, and with that, you keep improving. So that's just my final words. Thank
All
you,
right. Thank you.
System.
Yeah. Thank you, Jose, for that. All right. So Queen, let's hear from you.
Wisdom.
Hi.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
All right. Sorry.
How do we deal with frustrated clients in tech industry? My question
Sorry, I
is
didn't get the
that
question. Sorry, I didn't get the question.
how do we deal with frustrated clients in tech industry? My question with David.
Please, did you hear the question?
No, I didn't get it clearly. Queen, did you get the question?
Is the question for me
Yeah,
or is
Yeah,
it
I
for
got it.
David?
He said,
it,
how do
it
you deal with
was,
frustrating clients in tech industry?
Is the question for me or for David?
Yeah, I don't know.
he
We're talking
said for
about,
David or something. Yeah.
yeah, for David. Okay, Dave.
I haven't
Dave.
had any frustrating client, so I don't know how I'm supposed to address that. Anyone with experience there?
I mean, from
Yeah, but I've not had
yeah,
any.
from my freelancing days, this is what I would say. Okay, if a client is already frustrating you, it's too late. Okay, in many ways, it's too late because they're already a client, and whatever processes and safeguards that you had or didn't have in place have failed you, or else they wouldn't be frustrating you, right? So if the client is already frustrating you, they're already in the house. That's the thing with people coming to your house. Once they are in your house, that's why one thing with me, by the time you're coming to my house, I really, really love you. I love you. I love you. I love you before you come to my house. Typically, I go out. I'll meet you anywhere. I'll meet you on the rooftop. I don't care as long as it's outside of my house because I have control over when I can leave you and come home. Hey. But when someone comes to your house, you're giving up that control. It might take a lot more energy to get them out of your house. Okay. So the same thing goes with business, with freelancing. Once someone is already your client and they are frustrating you, it's kind of too late unless you fire them. And typically, if you fire them, you may not get paid what you are supposed to get paid. The work goes undone, and they're going to talk shit about you outside and could mess up your ability to get more clients. Okay. So if you already have a frustrating client, most of the time, the only thing you can do is just suffer through it. But you can learn. Okay. You need to learn from the frustrating clients. Ask yourself, why did things get to this point? How are they frustrating you? Are they frustrating you because they keep asking for additions to the project and they're not paying? Well, that's a problem. That's a process problem. That's a problem with your process, okay? Or a problem with your contract, or a problem with how you communicated your contract, or you communicated your services, okay? Is it that they are not paying when they should pay? Again, that's a problem with your contract, a problem with your process. So use your existing frustrating clients to figure out what is wrong with your process. What is wrong with your system, your business system, or whatever, okay? And then make policy changes, put changes in place so that those sort of things that are frustrating you don't happen again. That's how you handle it. But to ask, how do you deal with a frustrating, like they're already your client, what are you going to do? Right? The danger of, kicking them out, kicking them, or, firing them, or saying you're not going to work with them anymore, that could have consequences that could really affect you down the line. Right? So I think wisdom dictates that you just find a way to endure their frustratingness until they are no longer your client. Find a way to get rid of them gradually, not at once, okay? But more than that, you need to do that work of figuring out, how did I get to this place? How did I get here in the first place? What is missing in my system that I need to change, or I need to communicate? Sometimes you have systems, but you haven't clearly communicated them to your clients. So they are not abiding by your system because you didn't communicate it. Okay. So you need clear communication channels, and you need, strong systems and strong processes so that the clients that want to come and waste your time won't even get, that is, they don't even get to be your clients, because your system will filter them out. Okay. And then those that are serious and are ready to do actual business, those are the kind of clients that your system will permit to enter. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for that contribution. So, Hashne, hope she answered the question. Okay, can see your reaction. All right, so Queen, let's get the last words from you before we close up.
Sorry, the last one. Sorry, Wisdom. What did you say?
Yeah, more like
Oh,
what do they call it?
a closing
Closure speech.
statement. Okay.
Closure
I
speech.
mean, a successful career in tech is not a straight line. And I think the best thing you can do for yourself is embrace that truth, that it's not going to be a straight line. Every step is not going to yield dividends. That's the adventure of life. Okay. You can avoid big mistakes by, listening to people like we've had on this panel, Wisdom, David, Tech Bro. You can, again, put yourself in community so that you can learn from other people's victories and learn also from their mistakes. Okay. That's how you avoid big problems, big mistakes. But the truth is, you're going to make mistakes of your own. Okay. And rather than being afraid of that, I think it's better to embrace that and just decide, internally, that you do your best to avoid the big mistakes, and you do your best to learn from the small mistakes that you make. Okay. A successful career is never a straight line. It's when you look back. It's looking back. It's hindsight that reveals the journey, reveals the path. But when you're currently on the journey, it can be hard to know what it's going to be or what it's going to feel like. Okay. So that's where you need courage, right? You need courage, and you need that determination, to see things through. It's when you look back, like, David can look back, Tech Bro, Wisdom can look back and say, oh, this is how it went, or this is what it looked like. Yes. So, just, embrace wisdom, embrace the fact that it's not going to be straight, decide to be courageous with your career, and, have a sense of ownership. Don't leave the unfolding of your career in anybody else's hand. All right. Nobody can drive your car for you or steer your ship for you. That's your responsibility. The most anyone else can do is help, support, guide, point out obvious hazards, that's what people can do to help you. But no one can make your career for you. Nobody should make your career for you. That will always be your responsibility. So have that mindset, and I wish everyone the best. Thank you for having me, Wisdom and David. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining the call. And for me, I would say it's very important to nurture relationship like the story I shared. It's just because I nurtured that relationship. She was a hiring manager and nothing else, but she spoke highly of me in her team. And that probably made everybody question, like, how close are you to this lady? So, we should try to nurture relationship. And like Queen said earlier, don't just go and jump into people's DM. I know I received some DMs like, hi, I'm wondering, what should I say? Why would you even say hi to me, a stranger? So we should also take account of that. Don't just go and say hi to somebody else. And like she said also, try to stir up the relationship by interacting with people's conversation on social media. It's important. Like in my technical writing community, I have one of the mentees that he doesn't joke with whatever our community handle posts. He will retweet, he will tag, that gives him so much joy. Even on his birthday, I had to send him money because of that, because I just loved what he was doing, because that was necessary. And I could even do more. If he asked any help, which I know him too well, I would probably do more. So, interactions like that are very, very important. Don't just sit back and think things will just work out fine, Try to start up something. And like somebody said earlier about meeting senior devs, which Tech Bro brought up a very good idea. Don't just go to somebody's DM and say, how can I send a diff? Or how can I add a paragraph from here to there? You might build something, but I would like to use the step of Queen, where you start up something, start up that relationship, start sending message, retweet the person's tweet, like, always comment. They would notice you. So whenever you bring up, okay, I built this project, can you check it out for me? They will check it out and immediately even have a call with you and want to help you, because they've seen that you're serious and they know that you've started the relationship by commenting, retweeting, and liking. That would probably help us on a long run. It doesn't, like I said earlier before, probably at the very beginning, I know somebody that has over 15 years experience using my currency. He has not earned up to more than 80,000 naira, but he has 15 years experience, software engineering, and he's very, very good. But he lacks a lot. This relationship, people that probably think yes, he's good, but don't just always see yourself, you're too good, you cannot mingle, you really cannot come online. He doesn't do social media stuff. He just a very few persons around him that knows that he's very good in that. So because of that is where so for me, when I started AI, I always post what I've done. Like Dozier said, we started together in Port Harcourt in a community called ALC, and the learning community. Then we are sharing our projects and all that, and that made us grow fast. But this person I'm talking about has over 15 years experience, and he's very good. And he has so many projects. Like, he has built I would probably call it the common projects in Nigeria here, a hotel management system, hospital management system, built everything from back to front, and everything you think any person you build, he built it alone. And he's using this style of, build, and you probably go to a hospital, I want to sell this and all that. And he doesn't really listen. Okay. So I would like us not to probably follow that path where we don't try to listen. We don't try to show people what we have done. Like I said earlier, help might not come from your circle. Just like Queen said, she helped somebody. Not that the person, she won't say the person she's helping to get a job in US is in a circle. No, the person is not. But just because she has seen what he's doing, how he's trying to help people, the effort he's putting, not just the effort and not just the helping, but he is good. Okay, so let us not just think, okay, let me start doing the effort and I will not be good. Dave said, be very, very technical, very good at what you're doing. So if you compare what you're doing to what Queen said that he's doing, the guy was doing, helping people, showing his words and his projects are out there, somebody like Queen will come to help you to probably get a job. And if he gets the job and goes to US, his life has changed. And first of all, Queen is not in his circle. He has not seen her before, but she helped him. That is life. The hiring manager that probably helped me get a job, I've never seen her before in my life, except to have a retreat and probably go and see her, but I've never seen her in my life. She was just a hiring manager and became my friend and helped me to get a job. So, that is how it works. So let's just try to keep our ego aside. Like when Dave said that he started sharing project of what he has built, Gmail clone, Twitter clone. And I won't say start going and building Gmail clone because at the moment people might not believe it because we have so many Gmail clone online. So people might think he copied from Dave's GitHub to do the clone. So I would say use something that is not either existing or you use something that is not a regular kind of stuff. Because if you do Twitter clone, now if you think I'm lying, go on your Google and search for Twitter clone, you will see 5 videos. You probably see some other tutorials on how to do that. So that will tell you that if you build that, as a hiring manager or somebody that is looking for an expert, I would know that you probably copied from one of these persons. But when you build something that is not existing or you build something that is not regular, it is simple. They will probably know that this person probably, did the hard work, made lots of research to probably get this done. But the work was not made easy because of existing projects. Because at some point, you probably, I don't think I can do this. Let me just copy this guy's line and change the variable, change the name, change the class name, and you have it. Okay, so I think that would be my final words. So thank you everyone for joining today. And have a lovely night, lovely morning, lovely afternoon, and lovely evening wherever you are. Take care. Bye.